Do I now have a motion to approve the agenda for the meeting? Please state your name and move it. Can't see.
So moved for record.
Moved. Seconder? Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Against? Motion carried. Just a quick note, the reason I did not sing out candidate is I have the mic. At this time, I'd like to call upon Rhonda Ashby, bring greetings from League Savings and Mortgage and Atlantic Central, please.
Good evening. I'm happy to be attending your annual general meeting and to bring greetings to the membership of Valley Credit Union, your board of directors, and to Len Els and his entire team on behalf of Atlantic Central and League Savings and Mortgage Company. Valley Credit Union is one of 49 credit unions proudly serving more than 306,000 members throughout the Atlantic region. You are part of Canada's largest network of financial institutions with ties to cooperative credit union systems around the world. Your credit union is supported by Atlantic Central, League Savings and Mortgage Company, and League Data Limited. League Savings and Mortgage, excuse me. These continue to be interesting times in the financial services industry. Consumer needs and expectations are growing at a record pace, and it's critical that we keep up with these changes. Trends indicate that the use of technology is expected to rise as consumers increasingly rely on the internet and mobile options to access banking services. That's why your credit union invested in the mobile banking apps, which allow you to check account balances, review transactions, manage and pay bills, and make money transfers all through your smartphone. Deposit Anywhere, which lets you deposit a check from wherever you are by taking a picture of it with your smartphone and presenting it electronically for payment, was used more than 31,600 times by Atlantic Credit Union members in 2017. Lock and Block, new in 2017, offers you the ability to lock your debit cards and block unauthorized use of transactions quickly and easily via online banking, mobile web, and mobile apps. Credit unions are the first financial institutions in Canada to bring this technology to market. These new technologies ensure that you have 24/7 access to banking services anytime, anywhere you want. I'm proud to say that Valley Credit Union is able to access these products at discounts because of our Atlantic Credit Union system's collective buying power. Your credit union will continue to invest in innovative technologies to better meet your needs and to remain competitive in the financial services industry. For example, digitization is on the rise in the financial services marketplace, and your credit union is currently working with system partners to bring you online account opening and loan applications to make doing business with them even easier and more convenient. Just as convenience is an important driver in choosing a financial institution, the value of providing financial solutions that meet the specific needs of consumers is becoming even more important, especially in today's current banking environment. We know consumers may be actively looking for reasons to switch from their current financial institution. There has perhaps never been a better time for the credit union story to be heard. Credit unions offer a different approach to banking, one that is focused on the member first, and that relies on relationships built on trust. Our marketing program has created strategies that allow everyone who proudly supports their credit union to share their stories, especially through social media. I invite you to visit honestmoney.ca to see how you can help your credit union spread the word. If you're here at today's annual general meeting, it is because you know credit unions keep community needs and the local economy at the heart of their decision-making process. That profits are invested back into the local community for the benefit of all. Credit unions in Atlantic Canada and around the world have operated this way since their inception, and the time is ripe for all consumers to understand how we're different. In closing, let me say that your credit union and the companies that support it will continue to work hard to ensure the Atlantic Credit Union system remains strong and well-positioned to meet your financial needs now and into the future. We will ensure the credit union story is heard so others can also enjoy the same personalized service and value you do right here at Valley Credit Union. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Rhonda. Also invite Gerald Ivasic from Concentra to bring greetings.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, everybody. My name is Daryl Ivasic. I'm the local representative, or the feet on the ground, for Concentra Bank, Canada's newest bank. Although Concentra is most recently commissioned as a bank, we hold roots back to the 1950s as a cooperative trust company of Canada. Concentra holds about $9.2 billion of assets on its balance sheet and $39 billion of assets under administration. And the organization is designed to work with credit unions under a group of programs to help you guys leverage your balance sheet. We work directly with members under several programs such as trust, help trustee and work with your staff on the registered education savings plans. And so overall, we provide bandwidth and work with credits across Canada. Our corporate offices are in Saskatchewan. We have a commercial office in Regina and a retail office in Saskatoon. So that's just a brief overview on the company. I read ahead a little bit, so I'm not going to take all the steam out of the report, but I do want to congratulate the board, the executive team, staff, and members of Valley Credit Union for another very successful year. Well done.
Thank you, Dave. Also, if I could get Dave Power to bring us greetings from Cumas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't have any notes, so thank you, Rhonda. I appreciate that. But I do want to say thank you to everybody in this room, particularly to management, staff, and the board of Valley Credit Union. Cumas enjoys a tremendous partnership with Valley. We've been doing so for many, many years. So Cumas, for those that do not know, we are the insurance carrier for the credit union system in Canada. Division of Cooperators, so I know that you would certainly know that name. We help Valley extend, be an extension of what they do for you. It's to help, protect risk, provide wealth and insurance products to, for, and through the membership of the Canadian credit union system. Something that I hear regularly when dealing with Len and other credit unions across the country is that it's about people, it's about community, it's about trust. Those are values that we hold dearly as an organization and really aligns us corporately between our two organizations. So I'll keep it short. I do want to say congratulations on another successful year. We very much appreciate the partnership that we have together and for people in this room and of course the staff at Valley. So thank you very much, and I'll keep it short. So, thank you.
I would also like to draw your attention to the back of the room. We have some guests that are going to be giving us lots of good information after the meeting. Excuse me, but I do have to read this. In back, we have representatives from the Blair Patch Farm and Nursery, Berwick Community Gardens, and As a Sod Turns Landscaping. So I invite everybody after the meeting to talk to them, and they're going to give you all kinds of good information on how to make your property look nice. At this time, I'd like to introduce you to your board of directors. Andrea Martin from St. Louis, as I introduce you. Andrea Martin is our vice chair. Doug Olford is our secretary. Shay Griffith. Debbie Eldridge. Brian Sterney. Gordon Rogers. And regrets tonight from our two retiring directors who were unable to make it for various reasons. And that be Nancy Roscoe Huntley, who served one term with us, and Teresa Pelly, who I believe around 4 terms, I think it was. I'm not sure of that one. So, myself, I'm Martin Gillis, chair of the board. Ladies and gentlemen, your board. Now I'll call upon Christy Bishop to give us our registration report.
We have 98 attendees, 9 members, 8 guests.
In that case, we have a quorum. Thank you, Christy. The minutes of the last meeting were in the pamphlet you were given tonight. Could I have a motion to accept the minutes of the last meeting? So, moved by Debbie, seconded. Seconded by Richard. All those in favor? Aye. Against? Motion's carried. Does anyone have any business coming from the minutes? If not, then we'll turn the chair over to our vice chair.
So I'm here to turn it over to our chair, Marty, so he can give his report. It's going to be her cheer.
On behalf of your board of directors, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to our members, as well as to extend a thank you to the management and staff for improving the member experience through the past year. During 2017, the board had 10 regular meetings and 1 special meeting. There are 4 meetings of the executive. We also, representatives of your board have attended regional meetings and national conference, which this year was held in Halifax. Your board also has a representative on the Nova Scotia Co-op Council and a representative on Atlantic Central Board. The board believes strongly in cooperation amongst credit unions and has encouraged both management and board members to take part in discussions or work on committees which promote this cooperation. In May, your board participated in a strategic planning session where we reaffirmed our strategic priorities and performance measures, as well as increased focus on strategic partnerships to help strengthen our communities. Supporting our strategic priority, small business, we profiled some of our members in videos outlining their business and their relationship with the credit union. Board members also sit on various committees. They're very dedicated, work very hard, but I would like to recognize 2 committees this year that have been extremely busy. One is our Policy and Bylaw Committee, who over the last 18 months have gone through the policies and the bylaws to clean them up, make some language changes, and that has been a tremendously large job for people to do on a volunteer basis. The other one is our CSR committee, our Community Responsibility, Social Responsibility Committee, and the reason I recognize them is they get all the requests for assistance from all the organizations throughout the valley who are looking for some assistance, and they have a very limited budget. And they have the difficult job of deciding who we support and who we don't. And hats off to that committee. It is a tough job. Give me a minute, lost my spot. Through the CSR committee, we've supported such groups as Ground Search and Rescue, libraries throughout the valley. We've also entered into a new partnership with Valley Sport and Municipal Facility in Kemptville. We have agreed to a sponsorship which will see the facility, and it has officially been now renamed Credit Union Rec Complex. That's just outside of town here. Many of you have noticed the image improvements we've done. In the past year, we've done image improvements in Hansport, New Minas, Cambridge, and Greenwood. We also retired the Bridgetown branch and put in a new premises. Working with the Atlantic Branch Transition Committee, which is a regional initiative. We were one of the original trial projects, I guess you would call it, to design a branch that will be used for most credit unions in the future. It's very successful, and if any of you have not been in the Bridgetown branch, I highly recommend you go in. It enables us to make use of technology, as well as be far more personal with the members. In the past year, we've also replaced 5 ATMs with new envelopeless ATMs. That should give us efficiencies. Financially, we had a very successful year with strong loan growth. Management kept expenses under budget, and for the first time in many years, we have actually seen a small growth in membership. That is, yes. That has been a challenge throughout the region, not just for the Valley, I guarantee you. Credit union continues to be involved in our communities. The support is not only financial, but also with volunteer time. You will see staff and board members volunteer at local events. I would like to acknowledge our staff and the hours they put into these events. They are voluntary. When you see them out there on a Saturday, those are volunteer hours. Some of these events include Berwick Gala Days, Relay for Life in both Middleton and Kemptville, the Handsport Music Fest, and the annual Valley Regional Health Foundation Radiothon. Many more, those are just some. I would like to thank the board members for their dedication over the past year. When a person volunteers to be a board member, they're committing to much more than simply attending one meeting a month. There's several committees, as I mentioned earlier, that they go on. The volunteer events. They also attend conferences, there's training, there's personal development. So it is a time commitment by the board, and I appreciate the time that you put in. The decisions they make are not easy. They're not always pleasant, but they make them. And I commend them on their commitment to making Valley Credit Union a better organization and making the Annapolis Valley a better place overall. Look forward to working with the board over the next year. Thank you.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion to accept the chair's report.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have Lynn and Doug, so one of you can be the seconder. And
I'll second.
Perfect. Okay. Any questions for Marty? All in favor? All opposed? Perfect. Next up, we have Len is going to give his report.
I thought Marty was going to wait till I could come over and give him a boost up there. He's not feeling that well. He fell off a ladder, I think, last week. For those that aren't from town, is the roads going toward New Minas are terrible. So head out toward Coldbrook and halfway to the exit, just as you get past the ball fields, the rec complex that Marty was talking about, you'll see the sign nicely lit up on the side of the building. So I'm not going to follow much of a process here, and I've made the print big, so when I lose my place, I'll try to track it back. 2 months or so ago, we held a series of staff meetings across the business to discuss the results of our employee engagement surveys, something we've done for the past few years. What became apparent was that a number of concerns and issues that we normally identify through that process and work toward improving is we did not have many issues. So in trying to ascertain why that may be the case, a few people said to me, it may be because we didn't change much in 2017. This was the first realization by me that our team of employees is really becoming used to change, becoming proponents of change, and focusing on the positive outcomes that change has brought to us. The fact is that 2017 was a year of significant change for Valley Credit Union, and I'll get to some of that in more depth in a few minutes. We continued our fusion sales management approach based on identifying member problems, confirming needs, and offering and delivering solutions. Focus paid off. We had an extremely strong year, double-digit deposit growth, double-digit loan growth, very strong double-digit growth in our wealth offer, and as Marty mentioned, positive net member growth, which it has been many years since we've seen that. With continued focus on our strategic priority relationship management, with the assistance of First Ontario Credit Union, we developed a lender training program, training and deploying 4 new lenders, now called member experience officers, to our branches. 3 of 4 of these individuals were promoted from within, something that we are very proud of, as we have a strong focus on employee learning and development and career pathing, with a strong desire to see our existing staff meet our succession and growth needs. Our culture differs considerably from our bank competitors, so being able to fill roles internally is our strong desire. Confirming our commitment to image and culture, Marty mentioned that we refreshed 4 of our 7 branches, and we replaced 1 branch in Bridgetown. Still 2 more to deal with, which you will see dealt with over the next couple of years. Working together with Atlantic credit unions, we adopted common branding standards and design layouts, creating appealing spaces conducive for improving our ability to engage members, and also supported by technology. You notice I didn't say ATMs like Marty did, because and most people in this room probably know how they functioned for the first 6 months they were deployed. I think we're getting over the hurdle, but they're great technology, but with technology comes challenges and issues. Small business has been a priority for Valley Credit Union for a number of years. We have a strong product offering. We have a very capable commercial team, and the small business offer provides us with some of our strongest returns. Reliance on Valley Credit Union by businesses continues to increase as our bank competitors demonstrate increased reluctance to provide adequate financing solutions to some Valley businesses and industries. The Valley economy is highly dependent on a strong small business community, and we're pleased to be able to help many to start, to grow, and to thrive. For those at our AGM last year, Marty mentioned that we invited 4 members to review with folks at the AGM their businesses, and also to provide products at the end. Very, very successful. Noted as the best AGM we've had. During 2017, our marketing department worked with our commercial department to profile a number of small businesses that are our members. Videos were created, and they can be viewed on our social media. Videos profile those businesses and their relationship with Valley Credit Union. I encourage you to take a look for those. Another successful venture this year was a partnership during Small Business Week with the Annapolis Valley Chamber of Commerce. We hosted a series of speakers in an event that saw some 80 people benefit from information shared by the presenters. I'm going to go back to change, a little or a lot, in 2017. Some of these things may not be totally understood by members in the room, but certainly will be by staff. After 2 years of discussions and planning, Valley Credit Union, mid-2017, made the decision not to move forward with a shared services offer as that the Atlantic Credit Union system was looking to develop. We did that. We made the decision based on the ROI that it just didn't provide to us. Through those 2 years prior to, our employees were very aware of the discussions we were in and the job impact that it would have. So that discussion in 2017, or actually the announcement in September 2017, I think was provided a bit of relief for our employees. Another change, we had a significant change in the senior HR role with the departure of Sonia Ehrman, who was very instrumental in contributing to the success we had over the previous few years. We hired an insurance specialist to further complement our wealth offer and to deliver solutions to both our business and personal members. We restructured our branch business. I don't think anybody noticed this one. Adding additional complement to better serve members. We changed responsibilities of many of our staff. We changed reporting lines of many of our staff. We changed the titles of virtually all of our staff. And really, the titles were changed to better reflect their roles in meeting our member needs. We centralized the loan clerk positions, sore spot for many, I know. Centralized it from branches to head office, more change. I could go on with a list of 20 other things, but as you can see, 2017 was a year of much change, all in support of improving efficiency while strengthening our offer to members and prospective members. We have the great fortune of having a very committed team of employees that has embraced a culture of being the best they can. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank each of them for their hard work and dedication to our members, for their positive and can-do attitudes, and for supporting one another in a fashion that is demonstrated in very few workplaces. I'd like to thank the board members for their engagement and support. Marty recognized the policy committee. In addition, I'd like to recognize the succession and nominating committees, as well as employees involved in that process for board succession. We started a project a couple of years ago to improve engagement levels with members, to create interest in becoming a board member, and helping them to realize the responsibilities that took prior to becoming a board member. And I think those two committees and employees did a very good job at identifying a prospective list of candidates and reaching out to folks. Lastly, I'd like to thank our members for their ongoing support, for their advocacy, and for their honest feedback. Our success is very dependent on our membership's belief in us, using our services, as well as making others aware that why we should be their financial institution. So thank you all very much.
Okay, I'm back here to look for a motion to accept the President and CEO's report. Carol, and seconder, Andrea, any questions for Len? Lots of questions. Oh, we have a question for Len. Carol.
First, a statement. I do want to congratulate Ben, the CEO, and the credit union for a good job that you're doing, and bringing forth the, letting people know that credit union is better than the banks. However, and I've been battling this for years, Marty will go along with me on this. Some of the changes that you are going to be bringing out in 2018 are service charges increase. Yes, we need service charges. However, I disagree with the service charges of people having to pay to withdraw their own money from the credit union or deposit their own money. Also, the increase in service charges for items that you either using the ATM or checking or whatever. I know I sort of live in the past and things change over the years, man. But we have to consider those people that live from month end to month end with very little money. They go to the food bank. They may be able to go to the grocery store to buy a few groceries, but pay to handle their own money, to withdraw. They may only be using the credit union to get their pay or their monthly pension or whatever. And to have to pay to use the service of the credit union is, to me, taking away people. Sure, if everybody was working, had good jobs, making more than minimum wage, it might not be so bad, but there's a lot of seniors out there that are living very poorly. There's a lot of people that are not able to work, and it's not their fault, that don't have a lot of funds. And I would really like to see you reconsider some of the service charges that we do put on our members.
Thank you.
But on top of that, you have done a good job, but you could do a better job by reducing service charges.
One of my favorite topics. I'm going to pass this one to Denise. No, I'm joking. Service charges, no matter what group you talk to, it's always a contentious issue. What we try to do as management is we take a look at what our competitors are doing, because we are trying to grow our business. In order to grow our business, we need to attract new folks that are dealing with banks, so we need to be competitively priced. I certainly respect those on fixed incomes and those experiencing tough times, and I don't think we increased very few fees this year, and I think it was all on the commercial side, wasn't it, Denise?
Yeah, there was no.
Just a cash and coin fee on the commercial side. I don't think there's any changes on the personal side. They are extremely nominal this year. The challenge is, if you take a look at our image and culture and what we want to accomplish, and I think we've done a very good job at it to date, is we want to retain the 7 branches that we have. We closed one in North Queens 5 years ago because it was just in a state that we could not bring it back. So we asked the board to commit funds to training and developing our people, and we've grown our business more quickly than probably any other competitor across the country on a percentage basis. We need to grow our business to sustain those branches. Each of those branches costs us round figures, $250,000 to sustain. The people that are using those services, if I talk to the people that are making very good money, they don't want to pay either. So nobody wants to pay. So what we've tried to do is make it equitable for all. We're all equal members. I know seniors, we do have a seniors discount. There's been an argument by younger folks, if we're going to try to attract younger generations, that we should actually provide them with some discount and incentives as well. So it's been a very difficult balance. So we've done the best we can. We certainly do take your input, so if you have suggestions, we struggle with it, certainly we'll take them into consideration, but I appreciate your concern here.
Thank you for that. However, I know it's hard to balance the book, and that we need money to function day to day. I realize that. But isn't there some other place that we can get some of that money from, rather than, especially on those 3 items that I mentioned for service charges? I would rather get less of a rebate or refund at the end of the year because we've made good money and you're able to give this rebate out. I would rather not have to pay some of that money throughout the year in order to get that.
So we have actually discussed that, Carolyn, and if you take a look at the rebates really are providing dollars back to those that do the most business with us, so it is equitable. There is the possibility that we could look at reducing rebates at some future point, or eliminating and reducing service charges. And I don't mind putting that on a list to talk about with the board in the coming year.
Please do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Any further questions? Oh, well, yes, we do have a question back there. I can't, the light's kind of... Yes? Oh, okay, right.
And I, as anyone knows, have like 10 accounts. I'm been a lot, and it's the only way I can stay solvent. terrible mess, and I know you keep saying go online, but I get locked out when I go online. I just am not computer savvy. I depended on those books. Everybody, and my branch knows that. You never said there was a lot of books. I came here and got to
I can't remember your name, but you're from Middleton, and we've spoken. You do have a valid concern. What she's referring to, for those that are unaware, is the passbook printers are no longer in existence. We didn't have a choice on those printers, is the technology behind them is no longer supported. We did make the decision to curtail them at the 1st of March or end of March, whatever it was, because with the next Java update that was expected within the next 30 days that they couldn't give us a definite date on, is those printers would be rendered useless. So it was a choice that we were forced to make. I hope that you have spoken to your branch to find a solution, an alternative solution that can work for you, and I know it is frustrating. I appreciate it.
They charge $3 to get what used to be printed. It's the same thing as a service charge. Is that the dividend is such a small amount, and it seems to be on all the things that are getting people into debt, and it's not for saving, it's not for being frugal, it's for, if you have the most money, you get the most back. I remember when the credit union used to do different things every time that you got money for it, and now it seems to be always the same thing, which is things that make the credit union money.
I think you're referring to the patronage dividend and how it's distributed? Yes, it is based on the amount of deposit money, amount of lending, and the volume of transactions that members do with us. I am not aware that it has been changed. Catherine, probably, in how many years? Hasn't been changed since Catherine's here, and she's 31. It hasn't been changed in 20 years.
But the thing is that the concentrating in the life staff, and because just me, I've tried putting accounts in the same account, and it just, I send it. I don't have willpower under people, and I need my different books, and it's costing me a small fortune to bank. And I can't be the only one with this issue.
Yeah, I think there's people take different approaches to budgeting, and in the past, people used to use many accounts, and I think it's much less common than it was. I would encourage you, because I don't want to, talking about personal circumstances, etc., I don't want to tread on any areas that I shouldn't. But I will commit to ensuring that our branch works with you to come to a resolution that works for you. You're welcome.
Also, when I wrote a letter to the board a few years ago, and the response from the board showed me that they didn't even read my letter.
Well,
What I'm trying to get across, didn't come across at all, is that to get in contact with the board member is possible. You're supposed to be representing us. And I had to send a letter in which I got a very poor response, and I gave up. Is that why can one member have direct contact with board members regarding the health?
You can. I don't know if the contact information is online or not. If it isn't, we'll make sure that it is, and we'll make sure that that information is accessible at all branches.
Because I tried county with a branch manager then,
Yes.
and I was trying to get hold of the board, and she said that the board would not release their phone numbers, and I had to send a letter. So I sent a letter, and what I got back was not even related to my issue. But you can change that.
just to clarify, the board members do represent our members. So, hell, I'll give you their phone numbers. I think writing a letter is the appropriate way to address an issue that you want a definite answer to from the board. But there's absolutely no reason that you should not be able to contact a board member from your area to have a discussion.
Thank you, ma'am. Any further? Are we ready for the question? Okay. Everyone remember the motion to accept his report? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Perfect. Carried. And I'm putting this back over to Marty.
At this time, I'd like to acknowledge some more of the invited guests that we have with us this evening. If you could stand and be acknowledgement and give your name, please. Don Flynn, Pricewaterhouse. Don McNeil, Big Savings and Mortgage. I'm assuming you stood, I can't see through that way. Mike Johnson, Cutic. Nancy Bedford, Jumas. And Bobby McCacken, Atlantic Central. Thank you all for attending. Now we move to our committee reports. And at this time, I'll call upon Andy Vermeulen to give the credit committee report, please.
During the past year, the credit committee, consisting of directors Gordon Rogers, Brian Sterney, and myself, staff members Glenn Jordan and Steve Groves acted as resource to the committee. The committee met 6 times throughout the past year. The existence and purpose of the credit committee is stipulated in the Credit Union Act. The committee is responsible to ensuring the compilation, clarity, and accuracy of data required by the Act, and recommends policies and procedures for approving and granting credit provided by the credit union. During those meetings, loan activity was examined, reviewed, and compared to budget, ensuring the ratio of personal, mortgage, and business loans in the portfolio are maintained in the range approved by the board of directors. Delinquent loans are examined to determine everything is done to help deserving members meet their obligations and ensure follow-up is diligent and timely to protect the assets of Valley Credit Union members. It is my pleasure to report on behalf of the committee. Staff of Valley Credit Union have delivered a new record year of lending growth. Total lending increased $16.6 million, which is a 12.3% increase in the portfolio and a 50% increase over what was budgeted for growth. Lending is well balanced between commercial lending, residential mortgages, consumer loans, and personal, big paperclip here, commercial lines of credit. Staff are to be congratulated on their superior result. The record growth combined with the quality of lending, the result of significant investment in staff training and a shift in attitude that has occurred over the past 4 years. I've been on the board for 5 years now. I was just introduced to the board when we were closing up Queens branch. And in my business as a vegetable farmer, I learned a long time ago that you have to provide service. And that's what I'm seeing happening at Valley Credit Union now. When a member goes in there, when a new person comes in there, they're getting the service that's going to ensure that they return. Well done, and congratulations, especially from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andy. Could I have a motion to accept the credit committee report, please? It's moved. Do we have a seconder? Seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Against? Motion carried. Now I'll call upon Shay to give the CSR committee report, please.
This is the deer in the headlights. My report. The Corporate Social and Environmental Responsibility Committee, known as CSER Committee, was established by Valley Credit Union to ensure that we are fulfilling our commitment to our members and our communities while helping them to thrive and prosper. The CSER Committee is comprised of 4 representatives from the Board of Directors and 4 representatives from VCU, or Valley Credit Union staff. Our committee meets in person approximately 4 times a year, and business arising between meetings is resolved by email, discussion, and vote. The CSER committee members in 2017 were representatives of the board Peter Hicklinton, myself, Shay Griffith, Debbie Eldridge, Teresa Pelly, and Nancy Roscoe Huntley. Valley Credit Union staff representatives were Peggy Atwell, Andrea Peach, Linda Heatley, and Len Ells. Long-serving board representative and CSER chair Peter Hicklinton concluded his board term at the end of April 2017, and Valley Credit Union staff representative and accounting clerk Peggy Atwell retired in December. The CSER committee benefited greatly from Peter's extensive experience and sage advice, and Peggy's dedication to keeping us on budget. We miss them at our meetings and thank them for their years of dedicated service to Valley Credit Union members. Board Representative Nancy Roscoe Huntley joined the CSER committee in May 2017, and Valley Credit Union staff representative Christy Hewitt was appointed to the committee starting in 2018. The CSER committee is committed to the long-term well-being of our members and the communities we serve. Our priority areas of focus for 2017 to 2019 are the following. First is education. To sponsor events and activities that support youth and lifelong education. The second is sports, to support community strength and healthy living. Our third is to health and wellness, to support organizations and events that benefit the community. In keeping with our mandate, we offered financial support to the following community-minded organizations during 2017. Libraries. Recognizing that libraries play an important role in our Annapolis Valley communities, the CSER committee was pleased to partner with volunteer Friends of the Library organizations, lending support to the New Kentville and Area Library, the New Berwick and District Library, the Canning Library and Heritage Center, and the Middleton and Area Library. Search and rescue. Recognizing that volunteer search and rescue organizations play a valuable and life-saving role in our Annapolis Valley communities, the CSER committee was pleased to support Valley Search and Rescue, West Hants Ground Search and Rescue, and Annapolis County Ground Search and Rescue. The event Rodents Tour de Keji was sponsored by CSER, and we provided the medals for the inaugural Tour de Keji, which was a Canada Summer Games qualifying bike event. The Middleton Band Parents Association was supported by the purchase of band instruments. And CAPS funding was provided to the Companion Animal Protection Society to assist their animal protection activities. North Kings Education Center Home and School Association received support for their collaborative initiative to establish the Northern Kings Multi-Activity Park. The CSER committee was also pleased to offer volunteers from the Valley Credit Union staff as well as financial support to the following organization and events. Annapolis County Defeat Depression Run, Bike, Walk. We sponsored the event, and a number of staff either participated in or volunteered at the event in support of the Canadian Mental Health Association, Annapolis County branch. The Annapolis Valley Chapter of Autism Nova Scotia, we sponsored the t-shirts for their summer day camp, which is called Camp Spectrum. Staff volunteered at fundraising events, and Valley Credit Union board and staff representatives visited the camp to learn more about the organization and the day camp. Nova Scotia 4-H Steer Team. We sponsored them, and both staff and board representatives attended a fundraising dinner and auction to assist 4-H youth attending the Royal Winter Fair in Toronto. This report is just a small reflection of the acts of support, kindness, and community giving our board and staff members engage in every day at work and in their communities. On behalf of the CSER committee, I extend sincere thanks to our credit union members, volunteers, and staff for the support that you've given us this past year. Thank you.
Thank you, Shay. As I mentioned earlier, they were busy. Could I have a motion to accept the CSER report, please? So moved, seconded? It's been seconded. All those in favor? Against? Motion carried. Now I'll call upon Andrea to give the audit committee report.
Okay, if I don't go blind, I'm going to break a leg. No. Okay, I have a report here. It's in the booklet, but I think I have to read it to you, so I'm sorry. The audit committee has the overall responsibility to review the financial position of the credit union, as well as review any recommendations made by external auditors and other audit or examination reports received by Valley Credit Union. The committee, which consists of 4 directors, myself, Doug Olford, Nancy Roscoe-Huntley, and Scott Forsyth, has adopted a mandate which covers all of the duties specified to be performed by audit committees in the Credit Union Acts of 1994. The Credit Union Audit Committee held 4 regular meetings in 2017, and in March 2018, we reviewed with the auditors from PricewaterhouseCoopers the audited consolidated financial statement for 2017. Lastly, the Audit Committee is pleased to report to the members of Valley Credit Union that your credit union continues to meet the requirements within the policies established by the Board of Directors, and there must be a second page, maybe? Well, that's it then. I would personally like to thank Denise for the help that she has provided the Audit Committee.
Thank you, Andrea. Could I have a motion to accept the audit committee report, please? It's moved, seconded? Seconded. All those in favor? Against? Motion carried. Now I'll call upon Denise and Ryan to give the financial report, please.
I'll know that we're required to shoes next time. It's hard to sneak out the back door. Okay. So what I'm going to do, just to let everybody know ahead of time also, as I always do, there are full copies of the financial statements out in the entryway, all 24 pages. So if you want a copy on the way in, or if you haven't gotten a copy on the way in, then feel free to do so, even if you just want to fan yourself, because it's extremely warm in here. So I'm not going to go over the statements line by line. I'm just going to highlight a few. I'm just going to highlight a few key points that sort of sum up the success of Valley Credit Union in 2017. As Andy had stated in his report for the credit committee, it was a successful loan growth year for us. We grew by $16.8 million in compared to 2016, which also wasn't a bad year either. We had $11 million in loan growth. That is the key component of the assets of Valley Credit Union. We did have a growth of about $500,000 in fixed assets, and that largely was related to, as Len was stating earlier, purchase of ATMs and also our investment in our Bridgetown branch and some of our other branches. So overall, we had a $17 million growth in assets for the year. On the liability side, of course, our key component there is our members' deposits. The difference between 2017, or the most significant difference between 2017 and 2016 on that side, is that in 2017 we had $15.6 million in deposit growth, and in 2016 we only have 1.6. So we had a significant amount of deposit growth, and we needed it to fund the significant amount of loan growth that we had for that year. So from a growth perspective, I know in the time that I've been reporting on these financials, it is the highest growth that we have experienced. And on the income side, and just to mention too,
These consolidated statements are Valley Credit Union and a subsidiary company of Valley, which owns property and is a number company that are combined together here on the revenue side. So on the income statement, of course, because a key component for us is our loan interest, and we experienced a $500,000 growth there from 5.4 in 2016 to 5.9. And of course, that does largely relate to the growth that we experienced, but it also relates to the fact that for the first time in a considerable period of time, we did have 2 prime rate increases during the year. Lost my place here. Very little change on the deposit side, even though we had quite a bit of change, quite a bit more deposits come in 2017. It was the mix of deposits that affected that. There wasn't significant change there. So our net interest and other revenue for 2017 compared to 2016 was $7 million, and 2016 was $6.4 million. So again, largely dependent on the loan revenue growth. Operating expenses, we went from $6 million to $6.4. Not a large change there. On the personnel side, as Len was mentioning earlier, we did increase our lending capacity in our branches and made some changes there, and just regular cost of living adjustments and that sort of thing was the increase that took place there. So our income before taxes was $616,000. That was up from $389,000. And from a bottom line perspective, we had a surplus of $511,000, which was up from $313,000. So overall, we're up about $200,000 from 2017 to 2016. And so if you look at the statement, you will see that the financial statements are there and there are various notes attached. There were no significant changes to any of the notes. The only thing that's ongoing for us now is something called IFRS 9, which is a change to the accounting standards that we report our financials under, and it's an ongoing thing for us. The change we're seeing in 2018 relates to our loan provision, and we've already done some assessment on that. There's no significant change from a financial perspective in what it's going to cost us. So other than that, all of the notes are pretty much standard to what they would have been in the package last year. Any questions? Thank you.
The trick is she's going to ask you questions afterwards. Could I have a motion to accept the financial report, please? Moved, seconded? Seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Against? Motion carried. Now call upon Don Flynn to give the auditor's report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's my pleasure to be here this evening on behalf of PwC, and I'd first like to congratulate the credit union on really a strong year. If you think about double-digit growth in an economy that's growing at a couple of points a year, with inflation rate probably below 2%, all that growth is on the backs of the banks. You've taken business away from the banks, so a really, really strong job by the team. As Denise alluded to, those financial statements are in your package. You'll see at the front of this package is the auditor's report, signed by PwC. You can see in the report it is addressed to the members. So our responsibility as auditors is to report to the membership. And we do that through the audit committee, through Andrea's audit committee, who we meet with twice a year. So we met with the audit committee in December to talk about the audit plan, our assessment of audit risk, and the planned procedures to address these risks. And one of the changes that has happened in the audit business over the last 20 years, sort of initiated by Enron and the following of Anderson and so on, is the amount of required communication we have to have with the audit committee. So a lot of discussion about what the fraud risks are, what the possible schemes are, and how we're addressing those in our audit to make sure that we're not, that we're not reporting double-digit growth that's not real in these financial statements, for example. So we go through that and answer the questions and initiate our plan with the audit committee. And then we met again on March 23rd to talk about the results of the audit, the results of our assessment of the internal controls, and all the items in the financial statements that we've there's some judgmental on and so on. A lot, as you can imagine, would be around the allowance for doubtful loans and making sure that in fact is properly provided and the value of the loans that's sitting on those balance sheet is real collectible dollars for the credit union. As you can see, our audit report is a clean audit report, which means that your financial statements are fairly presented in accordance with IFRS. We'd like to take the opportunity now to commend the audit committee on representing the membership well and making sure that we do our job. And lastly, thanking Len, Denise, and the entire Valley staff for their assistance and cooperation through the audit. When our team shows up, we're disruptive, we ask a lot of questions, we're looking for a lot of documents, and this comes on top of people's day jobs. And even despite that, you know, we're treated with respect, in fact, somewhat welcomed, and certainly with full cooperation from all staff. So thank you to the team.
Thank you, Don. Could I have a motion to accept the auditor's report, please? It's been moved, seconded? Seconded? All those in favor? Against? Motion carried. Now call upon Andrew to make a recommendation for the auditors for next year.
Hi. I would like to recommend that we appoint PricewaterhouseCoopers as the auditors for 18. Yeah, 18. Okay, I think I moved it, so I think I'll get you to second it, Carol. Great.
Moved and seconded? All those in favor? Against? Motion carried. God, she's popular. Andrea, could you give the nomination report, please?
I'm just going to get a little coach here. Now, this is the last time you're going to hear from me, and it's very short. No, that Marty's doing the bylaws. Okay. So, the nomination committee, it was myself and Andy Vermeulen and Brian Sterney. Each year, there are 4 directors whose terms expire. Also this year, we had one director who resigned midterm, so we had 5 positions available. So we put the call for nominations. 2 directors are we offering, Doug Olford and Carol Tobin, and we had 3 nominations. So I'm going to say your names, and I'm going to ask you to rise just to acknowledge your fans. Wayne Fowler, David George, and Rick Graham. I can't quite see you. So 5 positions, 5 nominations. There is no need for an election this year. Everyone's in by acclamation. Even though it would be nice to have an election, because Jay tells me it's the 100th year anniversary today of women getting the vote. In Nova Scotia? Okay, Nova Scotia. You know, we're always advanced here. So. Thank you.
I'd like to welcome new directors. Could I have a motion to accept the nomination report, please? It's moved. Seconder? It's been seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Against? Motion carried. Under new business, we sent a notification that there were changes to the bylaws. As I mentioned earlier, the bylaw and policy committee went through this and did a lot of cleanup. Most of it is non-consequential. It's instead of the credit union, it says VCU. Instead of Valley Credit Union, it says VCU. That type of housekeeping. However, there are 2 substantial changes that we're asking to be approved tonight. One has to do with the number of directors. When Valley Credit Union formed, the bylaws stated that there would be 2 directors from each branch. At the time, there were 6 branches. It grew to 8 branches, which under the bylaws gave us a board of 16, which became a little difficult. So about 8 years ago, we had a bylaw change that stated the board of directors would consist of no more than 16 directors. And the intent of that was to be able to get the number of directors down. We now have been able to maintain a board of 12. We find that's a good number, and we're asking for the bylaws to be changed to state that the board of directors will consist of no more than 12 members. That is one substantial change. The other substantial change is to bring our bylaws in line with requirements for director qualifications. Directors have a requirement to go through certain training. This is mandated, so we're asking that the eligibility for directors be changed, because at times the challenge is getting the commitment from a director to do the training. And what we wanted to say is, a director will not be eligible for re-election if the person has not completed the director training requirements as set out in the Credit Union Act, or B, a person who fails to attend 3 consecutive board meetings without cause satisfactory to the other members of the board. Are there any questions on the substantive changes we're talking about? If not, could I have a motion to accept the changes to the bylaws? Move. Do I have a seconder? We have a seconder. Any questions? Okay, if not, then we'll move on to the service awards. Could I have the envelopes, please? We don't have near as many as we have had other years. However, we'll start out with the 5-year awards. Receiving the first 5-year award, Mr. Len Ells.
I recognize the name, just not the last name, but I did contribute to your wedding gift. Alyssa Baker now. Recently married. Give her a round of applause. 10-year service award, Middleton Branch, the memorable Christy Hewitt.
Seems like fun.
Yeah, you can. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
And 15 years from Greenwood Branch, Bev Meisner. And from head office, Glenn Jordan.
Now we're open for a motion to adjourn. Nobody wants to go. Ah, there it is. Motion to adjourn. Accepted.